Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankara-Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmala Sphatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe. Om Shri Hayagrivaya Namaha. Om Shri Vallabha Sameta Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. So we were in the topic of uh, Samvidaha Drishyatva Anupapattih or anubhuter-drshyatva-anupapattih. The anubhutihi or samvit cannot be a known object. It cannot be an object of any cognition. Now, in this context, we were arguing about the nature of this Atma, because the Vishishtadvaitin claims that Atma itself is the Jnata and it is not Jnanam. But we were arguing that the Pratyagatma or the innermost self itself is the Chaitanyam. It is not really a knower. The Jnana Kriya Ashraya is not really Atma, it is actually the Antakarana only. And therefore Atma is only Bharupaha and it is the innermost. Okay, it is of the nature of Chaitanyam and it is the innermost self. So this is what we concluded, Sankshepaha. Once we say this, also now again they are coming back. What? Nanu Samvid na Atma. Sorry. Samvid na Atma. Samviditi or Sambhinna Atma also we can take that. Okay. Nanu Sambhinna Atma Samviditi Purushasyaham Buddhya Bhavat. Okay. See this Atma, which is actually connected to Deha, etc., can be called as Sambhinna Atma, but here, or it can be Samvit Na Atma also we can take, because this is not very clear in the PDF what is there. So, Samviditi Purushasya Aham Buddhi Abhavat. Samvidhi, okay. In Samvit, okay, Samvit Na Atma, Samvidhi Purushasya Aham Buddhi Abhavat. Okay, that is the correct reading. So, Samvid is not Atma. Why? Because in Samvit, Samvidhi, Purushasya for a person, Aham Buddhi Abhavat. Aham Buddhi is not there on Chaitanyam or Samvit is what the Purva Pakshi is claiming. And further what he is saying, Yatra Purushasya Aham Buddhihi Vartate Sap Pratyagatma Aham Arthaha. Okay, wherever the person has the sense of I, correct? There alone you can have this innermost self. If there is no identification as I, as a self, where there is no self-identification, it cannot be called as Atma. This is their argument. So he is saying, Yatra tu na aham buddhihi sa parag anatma ghatavaditi kritva samvid na atma eva iti. Okay. So, or samvid anatma eva iti. So what he is saying, Yatra tu na aham buddhihi, where there is no aham buddhi, no self-identification, that is only outward, it is outer, correct? Sa parag Anatma, it is not Atma, like even the part Gatavat iti kritva. So, in this manner, what? Samvit is not, Samvit is only Anatma according to them. Okay, Anatma eva iti ma evam. But if you say this, thus, it's not like that. Why? Yatra Purushasyaham Buddhihi Sab Pratyagatma iti Niyantum na shakyate. So, what we are saying, wherever you have the Aham Buddhi, that alone is Pratyagatma, like that you cannot have any rule. Why? Because in fact, in everyday life, in samsara, this self-identification is there in many places, starting from the body onwards, correct? So that's what he is going to say. What is he saying? Manushyoham, sthuloham, kanoham iti, dehendriyadishu api, purushasyaham buddhihi darshanena, tesham api pratyagatmatva apatte. So what? That I am a manushya, I am sthulaha, Kanaha means I am not able to see, blind or one-eyed jack and all is called a Kanaha. So Kanohamiti, in this manner what Dehendriyadishu, on the Deha etc. So Dehendriyadishu api Purushasya aham buddhi darshanena. So the aham buddhi is seen to be there for any person on Deha etc. Therefore, then you have to say all this Deha itself is Pratyegatma, correct? If you put a rule like that. So Tesham api Pratyegatmatva apattehe. So once we say this, what now they are saying, Nacha vidushaha yatra aham buddhihi sa pratyagatma iti uchyate iti vachyam. So vidushaha yatra aham buddhihi. So no, we are not talking about ajnanis, we are talking about jnanis, okay, or vidvans. Those who are knowledgeable people, vidvans, for them wherever the aham buddhi is there, that only you have to take it as pratyagatma. That also you can't say. Na vachyam. Why? Dehadi atmatvavadinam bauddhadinam vidvatvat. Okay, who is considered as vidwan? So many people are considered as vidwan, starting from those who take the deha itself as atma, etc. Or there is no atma. Like Nairatmyavadis are there, like Bauddhadi. So all these people are all held in high respect, correct? So just because somebody is considered as a vidwan in the society, you cannot say whatever they take as atma is atma. So vidvatvam, all these people also are supposed to have vidvatvam. So how can you say that means? Then what first further he says, Nacha Vedantara Shastra Vidam Yatra Aham Buddhi Sapratyagatmeti Vachyam. So further what he is saying, no, when we said Vidwan, it's not other Shastras. Those who are Vedanta Shastra with those who know the Vedanta Shastra, those people, wherever they place the Aham Buddhi, wherever they have self-identification, that alone should be taken as the innermost self. Even that you can't say. Why? Because Vedanta Shastra Artha Sampradaya Artha Vidam Samvideha Aham Buddhi Sattva. So if you say like that, in fact, it is Anishta for you, because all the Vedanta Shastra Sampradaya, which those who know the Vedanta Shastra Sampradaya, the teaching methodology and the teaching itself properly, all of them, what do they say? Samvid itself is the Atma. They are not saying Samvid is some kind of a Drishya and Atma is the innermost and Samvid is not Atma and all these things they are not saying. Okay, Samvideva Aham Buddhi Sattva. For all of them, on Samvid only the Aham Buddhi is there. They all identify with the Samvid as the Atma. Okay, once we say this, what? In fact, it's very funny. So now he is saying, what? Nacha asmakam nasti iti vachyam. But he's saying, I am also a Vedanta Shastra with it. But we don't consider it like that means what? Then he is saying what? Yushmakam Satsampradaya Siddha Vedantartha Bodha Vidhuratva. So Vidhuratva means you are separated from, you are not part of really the Satsampradaya Siddha Vedantartha is saying. So you are not really part of the Sampradaya which is giving the proper meaning for all the Veda Vakyas. So you have interpreted something on your own, your Kapola Kalpita, and you are not really part of the proper Sampradaya, the teaching methodology which is coming down and the teaching itself. So we cannot say that just because you don't accept the Vedanta Sampradaya, which also consider it in the same way. Therefore, what? Once we say this, he is saying, Nacha Vedanta Shastre Samvidatmeti Kvapi Nasti iti Vachyam. Okay, Vedanta Shastre Samvidatmeti Kvapi Nasti. He is saying in the Vedanta Shastra, nowhere it is said that Samvid is Atma. Okay, that is their claim. Means even that you cannot say. Now Vachyam, why? Because Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Prajnana Ghanam Brahma Manomayoyam Bharupaha. So Mayoyam Purushaha Bhaha, like this, all this in Bridarnik also it is there. Or this exact quote, I don't know where it is there. It may be in one of the Upanishads. Again, Tejo Mayaha, Amrita Mayaha. This is from the Shweta Shvatara. Like this, he is quoting different Upanishads to show that this Atma is Bharupa, Atma is Jnana Swarupa. Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, and all these things. Ityadi Shruti Sattva, all these Shrutis are there. Okay, once we say this, what now he is saying, Nacha Tatra Tejadi Shabdaha Dyuti Vachaka iti Vachyam. So what he is saying, no, this Tejomaya, Bharupa, and all you are saying, this all only showing that it is bright. It is pointing to brightness. Jyotana, correct? Dyuti is the artha there. They are Dyuti Vachakaha. They are not really talking about Samvit. This is their argument. Even that you cannot say. Why? Because Atma is what? Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Avyayam iti. Shrutehe, Atmanaha, Vanhi Dharma, Dyuti Ayogat. You cannot give the meaning of Dyuti or physical brightness to Atma. Why? Because Atma is Ashabda, Asparsha. All the gunas which are there in the Mahabhutas are all absent in Atma. Correct? It is said Arupam. Here the main thing is Arupam. Because Dyotana means brightness is there, light is there, means there you can see the form. Correct? It is actually Agni Dharma. So the Bhautika Bharupa or the physical brightness is Agni Dharma, but Atma is really Arupa. It doesn't have any form, any dharma like that. Therefore, we have to interpret it as consciousness alone. There, the light is the light of the consciousness. The Jyotis, which is talked about with reference to Atma, is not, it is Alaukika or Abhautika. In fact, this argument is done by Bhashyakara even in the Swayamjyoti Brahmanam in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that it is Abhautika. It is not Bhautika really. It cannot be Vanhi Dharma. It is not proper to say that it is like a physical brightness. That is not possible for Atma. Okay. Then what? Prithivya Tejo Vyatiriktanam Vayvakashadinam Hi Nasti Rupam. Okay. Further he is saying that which is separate from Prithvi, Appan, Tejas, correct? The earth, waters and fire, Agni, which are Akasha and Vayu, they themselves do not have Rupa. Then what to talk about Atma? Correct? You cannot impute Rupa as a Dharma and on Atma. So Tasmat Samvideva Atma. So therefore Atma is nothing but Samvid. Further what? Yeduktam Parag Arthat Pratyag Artaha Hi Vidyate Hi Tad Ishtameva. Okay, further if you say that whatever is Pratyag alone is really Atma. Whatever is other than whatever is outer, correct? Anything which is cognized as something outwards, which is separate from you, that is not Atma. If you say that is Ishtam only, we accept that. Atma is the innermost. There is no doubt about that. That is Ishta for us. But what we don't accept is what? Parantu aham janami, gacchami, shochami, pashyami, shrinomi ityadishu. Yo aham arthaha, sa paragarthaha eva. But don't tell me that aham janami and all is really Atma is the karta there. Correct? Because all these types of different kriyas, with starting from janami, I know, gachami, I go, shochami, I am sorrowful, okay, I am grieving, pashyami, I see, I hear, etc., etc. All these activities, you say, which are all like aham is the artha. So there, whatever aham is there, which is associated with the kriya, that is atma. You cannot say or pratyek atma. Those are all. They are also outward only. Paragarthaha eva. Why? Why? Because Pratyagatmanaha Nyatritva Gantritvadi Abhava. In the Pratyagatma, in the innermost self, there is no question of any Kartritvam or Bhoktritvam. There is no question of any knowership or going somewhere, and all that also cannot be. Gantritvam also cannot be there. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't know anything as a activity. It doesn't do anything. And then where does all this take place means what? He is answering that. Tehi jnana gamanadayaha kriyaha anatma manaha indriyadi dharmaha. So all this, whatever jnana gamanadi kriya you are talking about, the activities like knowing, etc., and going, they are all really the qualities of only anatma, like manas. Manas is the ashraya, kriya ashraya for knowing. Similarly, deha, physical body is the kriya ashraya for gamana, going somewhere. Correct? So they are the ashraya for all these activities and dharmas, not the atma. So, and what is this atma? Nirdharmaka paramananda bodha rupaha hi atma pratyagarthaha. So whatever is the innermost self, okay, pratyagarthaha, atma, that is what it is, free of all dharmas. It is nirdharmakaha and paramananda bodha rupaha. It is rupa. Paramananda bodha rupaha hi atma pratyagarthaha tad atiriktaha sarvepi paragarthaha eva, and everything other than that, they are all only external things. They cannot be called as innermost atma. Okay, okay. Now once we say this, what again? Nahi gata patadayaha eva paragartaha. Now he is saying no, no. Gata pata etc. only are paragarta. They are external. Gata, pot and cloth etc. are external. Dehendriya antakaranani tu na paragartaha. Iti vaktyum shakyate. So now he is saying Dehendriya antakarana etc. are not external. They are all part of Atma or something. Means that also you can't say. Why? If you say that yena gamanadi kriya ashrayaha dehadihi pratyagartaha iti uchyate, then it will become what? All this gamanadi kriya ashrayaha cannot be in the deha. Okay? And then they will all become pratyagatma also. If you say still they are, this atma is basically, it is not paragartaha, means all this dehadi itself will become pratyak. Then what? Dehadi vilakshanaha eva pratyagatma iti vachyam. So once we say this, what? Even they cannot say dehadi or atma really, because even the dvaitins and vishishtadvaitins, they all accept deha vyatirikta atmatvam. They all have to accept. Now it is clear even in Bhagavad Gita, or even for them, they also talk about videha mukti. Correct? If deha is atma and deha goes away, then they cannot really talk about videha mukti, that going to some golok brinda or going to Vaikuntha etc. is meaningless. So if deha itself is pratyagatma, means it will have a problem for them. So they still maintain that dehadi vilakshanaha eva pratyagatma. But still you cannot also say that atma has all this kriya ashrayatva, because the kriya ashrayatvam are definitely on the deha, manas, indriya etc. only. Therefore, so if you say this also and that also, what, then there is a problem. Tatha sati gamanadi kriya ashrayatvam iva jnana kriya ashrayatvam api pratyagatmanaha nasti eva. Okay, if you say that this atma is dehadi vilakshanaha, so like gamana kriya and all is for deha only. And but atma is not deha, you are saying. Now if atma is not deha, then even the jnana kriya also, ashrayatam also cannot be for atma. See, like even the gamana kriya, that going, coming, etc. is not there for atma, means similarly knowing also is not there. That activity of knowing, atma is not the ashraya or the locus of that. So pratyatmanaha nasti eva we say. But if we say this, then they are bringing something else which is interesting. He is saying nacha gamanam api atma dharmaha eva. So now he is saying gamana is also atma dharma. Why? Deham parityajya lokantaram gacchati hi atma iti vachyam iti. So he is saying deham parityajya, giving up this body, atma only goes to lokantara, correct? Dehantara, deha vyatirikta atma is fine. But dehantara sambandhi atma also the Shruti is revealing, and that dehantara sambandhi atma has to go. to some other loka, correct? To take this body. So that means Gamana is there for Atma, he is saying. If you say this word, that is not true. In fact, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the same thing comes in the 4-4. In the 4th chapter, 4th Brahmana, what goes means actually the Sukshma Sharira only goes. Correct? Who travels means the Vijnana Mayaha, who is identified with the Sukshma Sharira alone, goes and takes up another body. That is very clearly said. So what we are saying, you cannot say this. Na vachyam. Why? Tadapi gamanam linga sharira dharmaha evana atma dharmaha. So whatever goes and takes up another body is the linga sharira. Okay, not that it is not atma dharma. Atma cannot go anywhere. Atma is sarvavyapi. How can it go anywhere? So he is giving an example. What yatha gramantra gamanam deha dharmaha. Okay, nahi paripurnaha achalaha atma kwapi gachet gamanat prageva tatra atmanaha satva. So like even the gramanta gamana going to another grama etc. village is possible only for the physical body. In fact, this Atma being Paripurna means what it is all pervading, correct? It is there everywhere. And it cannot move also. Achalaha. It doesn't move anywhere. It cannot go anywhere. It cannot move anywhere because it is all pervading. This Atma, Kwapi Gachet, Kwapi na Gachet. So it cannot go anywhere. Because why? Because Gamanat Pragave, before going there only, Tatra Atmanaha Satvat, Atma is already there. Before going anywhere also, it is there. Wherever you go, it is there. In the Ishavasya also it comes. There's a beautiful mantra in the Ishavasya Upanishad. Okay. So therefore what? Nacha Atma Anuhu Eva iti Vachyam. Now he says, no, Atma is Anuparimana. So some people say that, like the Nayayikas say, Atma is Anuparimana. That's not true. Why? Because Bhagavan says, what? Yena sarvamidam tati tatam iti Gita Vachana Virodhat or Gita Virodhat. What is this? So in the second chapter itself, Bhagavan says, Avinashitu tad vidhi, yena sarvamidam tatam, vinashamavyayasyasya, nakaschit kartum arhati, antavantai me dehaha, nityasyokta sharirinaha, anashino prameyasya, tasmadhyudhyasva bharata. So all these things are there. Yena sarvamidam tatam. This Atma is the one which pervades everything. It is Avinashi. It cannot be destroyed by anything because it is aprameya. Doesn't become an object of any sense organ or mind, etc. And therefore, you cannot say that Atma is Anu Parimana. Therefore, what Tasmat Nishkalam Nishkriyam Shantamiti Shrutehe Nishkriya Atmaiva Pratyag Arthaha Samvidrupaha. Again, Nishkalam Nishkriyam Shantam. This is a very famous statement from Shvetashvatara-Upanishad. Okay, Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam, Niravadyam, Niranjanam, Amritasya Param Setum, Dagdhen Danamivanalam. Like this, there is in the Shvetashvatara-Upanishad, 6th chapter, this verse is there, very popular verse. Nishkalam, Nishkriyam, Shantam. So it is Nishkriyam. Nishkalam, it doesn't have any parts. It is partless whole. It is, and even in the Gita, all the time Bhagavan is talking about this that Atma being not a karta, correct? Naiva kurvan nakarayan and all that. Or kam ghatayati hanti kam. All these things are there. So many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita also, which is pointing out to the nature of Atma as one which is akarta and abhokta. So this Shruti itself is pointing out this Atma as Nishkriya, and therefore that Nishkriya Atma alone is the Pratyagatma, and that is Samvidrupaha only. It is of the nature of consciousness. And tad anye sarvepi paragarthaha eva iti. Paragarthat Pratyagarthaha atyantam bhinnaha eva. So whatever is other than this Pratyagatma, everything else is only parag. They are all external. external only. And this, whatever is external and anatma, is completely different from this atma. That's why Bhashyakara says, Yushmad Ashmad Pratyaya Gocharayo Vishaya Vishayinoho Tamah Prakashavat Viruddha Swa. So they are different, completely Atyantam Bhinnaha Eva. Tayoho Abheda Pratitihi tu Bhranti Siddhaya. But even though they are like that, but one is taken as the other. That is the thing about Adhyasa, correct? That is the beauty. That is the Maya. So the Abheda Pratiti of them, the taking the Anatma as Atma, and that is so Swabhavika also, correct? So it is Naisargikaha Naisargikoyam Loka Vyavahara, like that Bhashyakara says there also. This Loka Vyavahara of taking the Anatma as Atma or having Abheda Buddhi is Prantihi. It is complete erroneous cognition. It is Mithya Pratyayaha. It is Mithya Ajnana Nimittaha. It is due to ignorance. Okay. Then what? Nanu यदि आत्मा निष्क्रियः तद्भिन्नश्च जडः तर्हि कश्रवणादौ प्रवर्तते इति चेद उच्यते चिदाभासः इति. Okay, now he is asking, okay, if you say this atma is nishkriya, it cannot do any activity, and everything other than that is jada. Whatever other than the atma, all anatma are jada. Then what? Who is doing shravana, etc.? You are saying you have to do Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, again Atma Jnana, and that is moksha. If you say like this, it will become Anirmoksha Prasangaha according to him. Because then who will do Shravana Manana, etc.? Means we say it is Chidabhasa. It is the Abhasa only. Okay. All the Kriya, because the Jada by itself cannot do anything, correct? Chitta also cannot do anything. But the semblance of consciousness which appears or which manifests in the Sukshma Sharira or in the even the whatever in the Sharira itself, different Shariras, that is the one which is doing. So the Chidabhasa only has to do the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Okay, once we say this, what is saying that if Chidabhasa does the Shravana, etc., and attains moksha, it is like suicide, he is saying. So it is meaningless. Like that they are trying to argue. He is saying, Nanu ahamartasya chidabhasasya vyavaharikatvena muktau abhavat. Okay. Ahamartha vinashaha eva mokshaha iti siddham. So if you say chidabhasa is doing the shravana, etc., then what will happen? The ahamartha is there in the chidabhasa. Aham buddhi, ahankaraha and all is chidabhasa only. And this Siddhabhasa itself is Vyavaharika, it is not Paramarthika, it is not there really, truly, correct? So Vyavaharikatvena, Muktau Abhavad, it cannot be there in the Moksha. In Moksha Sthiti, Siddhabhasa cannot be there. Muktau Abhavad, Ahamartha Vinashaha Eva Moksha. So according to you, whatever is the Ahamartha, the Siddhabhasa, it will die, it will go away in Moksha, it will vanish. This is where the problem is, because if Bandha itself is Maya, correct? Moksha also is equally Maya. So even the talk about moksha, etc., is only Vyavarika. Understand that. That is why Jivan Mukti is possible for us. Both Bandha and moksha are equally unreal. Therefore, even a Mukta Chida Bhasa can still be there, because Prarabdha has already started. That is the idea here. So just because somebody gets moksha, they will not vanish. Of course, there are some stories and all that some jnanis entered some sanctorum in some temple and they vanished and all that. That also may be there. But we are not talking about that. That's not a rule or anything. Understand that. Somebody could have done all that. We don't want to get into that. But that is not a rule. That only if you vanish, you are a mukta. In fact, some people say that, I think. They say that real jnani means as soon as they get jnanam, they have to vanish. They cannot even see any Dvaita, because these people misunderstand that Dvaita perception itself is a problem. In fact, we say Drishyatvat Mithya, correct? For us, the Dvaita, Drishyatvam itself is a hetu for establishing that it is not there. So how are we bothered about Dvaita Darshanam and all that? A Jnani is not bothered about Dvaita Darshanam, because Jnani knows Nasato vidyate bhavaha, nabhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontaha. Bhagavan also says, correct? Bhagavan is saying the one who sees both, what? That whatever is really existent, it can never become non-existent. And whatever is non-existent, it has not come really into existence. The one who sees both, Ubayorapi drishtontaha tu anayoho tattvadarshi, is the tattvadarshi. Amongst, so the truth of oneself and the truth of all the others which are like coming and going. What is Satyam, what is Mithya? Understanding that is really the 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 goal of Vedanta Shravanam, etc. So, and one who understands Satyam as Satyam and Mithya as Mithya is the Tattvadarshi. And the Tattvadarshi alone can teach also. If there are no Tattvadarshis, then Bhagavan will not say that what Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevya Upadekshyanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. So Tattvadarshi he uses there also. The same Tattvadarshi he uses in the second chapter. In the fourth chapter also he says, such a Tattvadarshi you go and do whatever, Sushrusha, etc. to your Guru, and that Guru who is a Tattvadarshi will teach you. Therefore, we have no problem. Bandha, moksha are all equally at the same vyavaharika only. In fact, Atma really is neither bandha or moksha, both are not there for Atma. That is the truth. Correct? Na nirodho, na chotpattihi, na baddho, na cha sadakaha. Navamukshur, navai muktaha. Ityesha paramarthata. So we have to always keep that in mind. So anyway, so we have no problem with this, but they are saying this Chidabhasa is Vyavaharika, and when it gains moksha, it will not be there anymore. Ahamartha vinashaha eva mokshaha iti. It is like suicide, they are saying. Okay, that is what is saying. Ahamartha vinashaha eva mokshaha iti siddham. It will become, therefore, there is also a shloka they are quoting. I don't know where it is. So he is saying, Ahamartha vinashaschen mokshaha iti adhyavasyati. So if you say the Ahamartha vinasha itself is the moksha, like that you ascertain, correct? You determine adhyavasyati. In fact, this is fine. For us, the Ahamartha here is ahankara or aham buddhi. See, in the sleep itself, aham buddhi is not there. You do a simple analysis, correct, of this, whatever we say, correct, that something is there. I thought is there in both dream and waking. Fine, correct. But I thought is not there in deep sleep. But I am there. Even without I thought, I can be there, correct. I only slept. I am awake. I dream. I slept. That I is the invariable in our all avastha. Or even within waking also what? I was the child. Correct. Dehi nosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. And all Bhagavan also says. Kaumaram, Yavanam, Jara, everything is I only. I is the invariable. When all these things, the body keeps on changing. And in that, again, Kaumara, etc., you would have undergone so many waking, dream, and sleep also in all these things. But I is the constant. So even when there is no aham iti, ahankaraha is not there. There is no aham dhi vritti. Then also aham is there. That is very clear. Okay. So ahamartha vinasha there is not a problem really, but they are saying no, if you do an adhyavasya like that, if you ascertain like that, what apasarpe dasau moksha katha prastava gandhataha. So now they are saying people will go away from that apasarpe. Why in such kind of thing? Because they don't, nobody wants to commit suicide, he is saying, because it is like suicide of Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa is doing Shravana and then after moksha it is not there anymore. It has become destroyed. And nobody will come near this. Okay? Because nobody wants to do suicide. Now Bellangonda is arguing funnily. So he's saying, no, you cannot say that. Because a lot of people do commit suicide in the world. He's saying. So he's saying, Nahi kopi swavinasham vanchati iti Ramanujaha. So Ramanuja further says what? So after quoting this, he's saying that nobody desires to kill oneself or do suicide. Therefore, whatever you say that Chidabhasa is doing the Shravana, etc., does not work out. But that is not proper. Tada ayuktam vai pativrata hi nari bhartra saha swarga sukhartham swavinasham api icchanti vanhau patati. Okay, now he is saying some people have satis and all are there, correct, in the tradition. So they have, along with their husbands, they went into the funeral pyre. Okay, they jumped into the fire, etc. Because it is said that they will all go to Swarga. The satis will go to Swarga. That is there, that belief. Or some people go to Kashi to die, or Prayag. So there is a Puranic saying that Janmantare Rajaham Bhavishyami iti Kripanaha Prayage Gangayam Nipatati Swavinasha Ichaya. And those who die in the Ganga in Prayag, they will become Maharaja in the next Janma. Like that, there is a belief is there. Janmantare Raja Bhavishyami, I will become Raja. But in this life he is a Kripana. He is a miser. Okay. But he wants lot of wealth. So he is ready to die in Ganga. Jump into the Ganga and die in Prayaga. Or Kushtadi Abhibhutascha Swanashe Dukkha Nashasyat iti Swanashaya Upadau Patati. Or some people who are having all this illness like leprosy, etc., and they are undergoing a lot of suffering, they want to end that suffering. And therefore, they are ready to jump into the well or something. Kupadau patati. So, evam chidabhasaha api sakshitvena avasheshaya swavinasham savanchati. So, even similarly, the chidabhasa, being chidabhasa, it is a samsari. So, it wants to be avasheshaya, sakshitvena avasheshaya means what? It wants to rest or it wants to resolve into sakshi, the witness consciousness, and no more be the chidabhasa. So Swavinasham Savanchiti. So it can desire its own Nasha. What is the big deal? Because it doesn't want to be a samsari anymore. It identifies now with the asamsari Chaitanya, not the Chidabhasa anymore. Okay, Aham Chaitanya Swarupaha, not Chidabhasaha. So it can desire like that. So what is the big deal? Okay. So Yaditu Deha Atirikta Atma Jnanam Striyadi Nam अस्ति ततः देहादि भिन्नस्य स्वस्य स्वर्गादि सौख्यलाभाय स्वदेहनाशं ते वाञ्छति इति उच्यते तर्हि चिदाभासस्यापि नाहं संसारी चिदाभासः जीवः किन्तु असंसारी साक्षी एव इति ज्ञानमस्ति ततश्च स्वगत चिदाभास भासत्व अपगमाय चिदाभासः अपि श्रवणादिकं कुर्यादेव इति सिद्धि इति विद्धि. Okay, now he is saying what? No. The Purva-Pakshi can say that even though Atma Buddhi is there in the Deha, but those who really do all this sati, etc., or commit suicide, they don't have any Atma Buddhi in the Deha. Because if the Stri wants to go to Swarga, then she knows already that she is Deha Vitrikta Atma. So she is only destroying the Deha, not the Atma. Okay. So we can say like that, no? Deha Vitrikta Atma Jnana is there for the lady, therefore, but she wants to go to Swarga, so she has destroyed her body. Okay, so dehanasham te vanchati, so they desire to destroy their body. If you say like that, similarly we can say what? Swagata chidabhasatva apagamaya. So even whatever the chidabhasa itself has a chidamsha and abhasa is there. So it wants to only give up the chidabhasatvam. Chidabhasa itself is satya. If you look at it from the paramarthika drishti, The pratibimba cannot be different from the bimba. Bimba and pratibimba are one only. But the pratibimbatvam can be looked upon as mithya, and it only wants to give up that part. Okay, chidabhasaha api chidabhasatva apagamaya. So to give up the chidabhasatvam, it can take upon all this shravanadikam. It can do shravanadikam kuryat eva iti vidhi. So you know like this. So what is the big deal? Whichever way you see, you say, it applies for us. Once we say this, what he is now saying, nacha chidabhasaha katam sakshi syat. How can this chidabhasa be sakshi? Chidabhasa cannot be sakshi. Sakshi hi chid iti vachyam. And chit alone is sakshi. How can chidabhasa be sakshi? Means what we say, chitaha eva upadhi vashat. Chidabhasatvam. The chit alone is the chidabhasa really, due to the upadhi. Okay, upadhi vashat. Yatha mukasya eva upadhi vashat pratimukhatvam iti. So, like even the face alone becomes the reflection of the face also. Correct? Pratimukham here is the mukha pratibimba. So, the mukha alone, due to the upadhi, the reflecting surface becomes the reflection of whatever face. Like that, chidabhasa is nothing but chit. It is a upahita chit alone is chidabhasa. Okay, nacha chitaha abhasaha apramanaha iti vachyam. Now he is saying, no, how can you say that chit itself is this? There can be abhasa of chit and all. How can you say it is apramana? Means no, there is Shruti itself is there. Jiveshau abhasena karoti iti. Maya jiveshena jiveshau abhasena karoti. Maya abhasena jiveshau karoti. Like that, Shruti Vakya is there. So that itself is the pramana. So we have, for everything we have Shruti pramana. So you cannot say that there is no pramana. Therefore, what yadva aham arthaha pramata antakarana avachinna chaitanya lakshanaha. So this antakarana avachinna chaitanya is the pramata really. The ahamartha can be taken as pramata or ahankara. That is really antakarana avachinna chaitanya only we say. The pramata is antakarana avachinna chaitanya. Pramana is antakarana vritti avachinna chaitanya. And prameya is vishesha avachinna or vishaya avachinna chaitanya. Like that only we look at it. And pratyaksha jnana itself take place when all these three things align together. Okay. Like even the two part space, you put one part into the other, then both the part space are same, correct? Something like that. So this antakarana avachinna chaitanya, which is pramata, itself is ahamartaha, we can say. And that is what sahi, so avachedaka antakarana nashaya shravanadau pravartate. That alone is now whatever is limiting it, correct? The conditioning factor which is conditioning or limiting it, avachedaka or avachinna means that which is limited, you can say. It wants to get rid of all these limitations really. So avachedaka antakarana nashaya shravanadau pravartate. It enters into all these activities, shravana, etc., to destroy its whatever is its limiting adjunct. In English, if you want to say, they use all this word adjunct and all for upadhi. I prefer conditioning factor, which is better, I think. So whatever is conditioning it, it wants to destroy that, so that it wants to become unqualified, unconditioned, limitless, etc. So like this we can say, correct? Yatha kushta abhibhutaha swakushta deha apagamaya maranaya yatate tadvate. Like even the one who is afflicted with leprosy, he wants to get rid of the body which is afflicted by leprosy. You can say that, because that is a problem. Asminscha pakshe shravanadau na kevalaha atma pravartate napi anatma kintu tad ubhaya tadatmyavan purushaha iti siddham. So in this, if we explain like this, in this manner, asmin pakshe, this shravana, etc., is not done by atma by itself, correct? That is very clear. Kevala atma cannot do any shravana, etc. Anatma also cannot do shravana because it is not aware. It cannot be aware because it is jada. So what do we say? Kintu tad ubhaya tadatmyavan. So the one who identifies with both Atma and Anatma, which is Chidabhasa, that Purusha, that person alone can do this Shravana, etc. That is very clear. In fact, whoever says that I am ignorant, that person alone can do Shravana, etc. Correct? For whom is this knowledge? This question is asked even in the 13th chapter in the Gita. Then Bhashyakara also gives a funny answer, or he gives an answer which is the proper answer, in the sense that whoever says I am ignorant alone can do all these things. Right? For that person alone, jnanam. If you say you already know, then you don't require any jnana. So you are the samsari, you have a problem, you want to get rid of it. Then for you only jnanam is there. If you say no, I don't have any problem, then be happy. What is there is no need of any Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, etc. There is no need of any Vedanta Jnanam. You don't have to come for all these things. So, that is the answer. Okay, this further continues. We will see this. Time it goes on. Okay, almost we have come to an end of this topic. So, we'll take it up in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you.